Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
Welcome to our 25th episode.
It's our 25th already?
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed we've spent a lot of time pointing out creeps.
There's probably nothing in the world that I hate more than creeps, and we've had a lot of them on the podcast.
Too many to count, actually, but that got me thinking about the POV of the creep.
Huh?
I wanted to know if there's any stories posted from the other perspective.
So you found a bunch of stories posted by Joe Goldberg?
Something like that. I pulled a few where Opie has a little bit of a, oh shit, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo moment. Story one.
I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Whoa! Sorry, okay.
That's my dad's go-to karaoke song. He fucking loves it.
I used to play that song on Rock Band
Yeah.
so much. It was like one of my favorite songs to sing on Rock Band.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
I just imagine little Addison.
I was that in Mississippi Queen for some reason.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my dad said I sounded just like the original.
Hell
so,
yeah.
like, me at 13, I was like, Mississippi Queen, if you know what I mean. Okay.
Story one. My dad was someone's let's not meet. So last month in August, we took a family vacation to Miami, Florida to get away from the hard working and learning life as we decided to treat ourselves. My mom's aunt was leaving with her husband on her own vacation, and so she let us use her apartment to stay, which is only 2 blocks away from the beach. A few days into our vacation, my dad, in his 60s, little sister, 8, and I, 20, decided to let my mom relax by herself while we hit the beach. When we head out, we noticed we didn't bring anything to eat, so he asked me to quickly run to the store and buy some fruits. Before I took off, important, I gave my dad my huge sun hat to hold. You know, one of those round, big ones? While I quickly ran to the store. We agreed we'd meet across the street where there's a park so my sister could play while waiting. Moments later, I come back and find my dad laughing to himself as he tells me what happened while I was at the store. The playground didn't have any benches, so my dad had to sit a bit further away, and he placed my hat on his lap, covering his crotch area and his hand resting underneath. This all happens naturally, as he was watching my sister play. Side note, my dad doesn't look intimidating, but everyone thinks he's my grandpa, maybe because he wears a long white beard. So he tells me that a man was walking his dog and noticed my dad watching my little sister and his hand underneath a female hat, and suddenly this man goes into full red flag alert and starts to watch my dad carefully, thinking he's a creep, touching himself, spying on my sister. The man walks near my sister and stands next to her as if to guard her while she played with his dog. Then my dad says the man walked across the street and went behind a fence and stood there for about 5 minutes spying on my dad through one of the fence openings to make sure he didn't do anything to my sister. A few days later, while on a family walk, we saw the man with his dog and 2 other girls around my sister's age. The man didn't recognize my dad. The way they interacted gave it away that those were his kids, and we realized he was just being protective as he would be over his own children if he thought there was a creep in town. But no creep. Just my dad.
That is so funny that the dad was so calm about it after the daughter got back. He's like, guess what just happened?
He's like, in retrospect, I see how someone could have thought. However, I imagine in the moment he's just sitting there like, oh, what a nice little day in the park. The sun is shining. Bethany's playing on the swings. What a nice time we're having. Meanwhile,
The sky's like lurking through the bushes. Like,
he's like on his walkie-talkie. Predator alert, predator alert.
do you see him over there? Wee woo.
Here's Chris Hansen on the phone. We got one.
Okay, 2 things. First thing, why didn't he take his hand out of the hat if he noticed that the guy was watching him?
Yeah.
That's my first thing, is like, did he think it was funny? Because I can understand thinking it's funny.
Yeah.
But if you're also trying to avoid confrontation, then I feel like the best move would be to take the hat off.
I wonder.
Show that your hands are up.
I promise my pants are I wonder if it didn't click in until a little bit later when maybe, he's like, man, that guy's really looking over here.
Yeah.
Is that him by the fence? Still looking over here?
Watching on the phone with Chris Hansen?
Yeah, as he's just like holding the hat.
I can hear him on his walkie-talkie to Chris Hansen, and he's like telling him where to go.
Sounds like he's telling him to come here. The description is my outfit.
Oh, I'm sitting. Second thing, have you seen on YouTube the guys that will go? What are they called? They have a name, but they're like justice people, like
okay.
But they do essentially what Chris Hansen does, and they'll trap people for messaging minors and then get them to meet them at like a Walmart or something adjacent to that.
Yeah.
And they'll humiliate them in the store and be like, I'm getting like, call your mom right now and tell her what you did. Call your wife right now and tell her what you did. Or I'm going to call the cops. And then they call the cops.
Vigilante Chris Hansen. I bet it's still manned by Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
But he wanted to make fun of them and then...
There was something problematic about it, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But there's that if you ever get bored and want to watch some To Catch a Predator, but IRL. Well, I guess they're all... It's all in real life, but YouTubers.
Yeah. I shout out to the guy for being like, you know what, that looks weird. I'm going to stick around and make sure it's not weird.
Yeah. There was one time when I was a wee lass. I was like 17, but we went to this place called Church on a Hill.
Okay.
And it's where all the like people who wanted to be bad teenagers would go and hang out.
Okay.
And because it was a church on top of a hill, and you could see all of the downtown city and stuff. And we would go up there and, you know, smoke lettuce and hang out.
A religious experience.
And one time at like 1 a.m, me and my friends were there and we saw this older guy, sitting in a gazebo, and he had a younger girl who did not look like she could be related to him.
Yeah.
Laying on his lap. And so we got nervous and we called the cops. Because we just weren't sure.
Yeah.
And we probably could have ruined their night. But they could have just been up there praying. I don't know. But it was like 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's weird.
So I was like, this is weird.
That's weird.
This is weird. So yeah, we called the cops and we did not stay to hang around because we had stuff on us. Mm-hmm. So we left. But yeah, we ended up, I was like, this is odd.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. I always used to wonder if people thought that I was kidnapped because my mom is a white woman.
Put a picture of
and yeah, a lot of people like in school, like before we went over Punnett Squares, thought I was adopted. I was like, I'm not. And they're like, okay, well, what happened? And I was like, well, I wasn't kidnapped, so...
What happened? Well, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much.
I think it's extra funny when I'm, like, out with, like, my mom and my sister and my Nana, and...
Another person.
People are like...
Who's the outlier?
Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here, don't worry.
You're getting out. You're gonna get out.
Clink if you need help.
You're like, you don't see a teaspoon anywhere, do you?
There's a picture I took with my Nana. We were wearing matching sweaters on Christmas, and I wanted to be such a cute picture, but I had stayed up all night helping a friend wrap presents for her son. And I was very tired. And in the picture, I look like a Get Out character. Oh. It's like...
Oh, no.
I'm just there with this little old lady, and I'm like...
People are actually
eyes
like,
are watering.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you being held against your will?
Someone other's like, I fucking knew it. Anyway...
trigger warning, this story has the death of an animal in it. Story 2. I was someone's let's not meet. This happened a few hours ago. Upon waking up and thinking about it, I realized that I most likely just scared the crap out of some poor old man. To start though, you have to understand the situation I recently found myself in. My beloved cat, we'll call him Billy, went missing about 2 weeks ago. I'm so sad. That made me so sad. I've plastered my neighborhood in posters begging for anyone who sees him to call me. Today, after weeks of silence, I got a call from a woman claiming to have spotted Billy by a graveyard behind my house. So, naturally, I got dressed and headed out to search for him. But again, some background information is needed. This weekend, I came down with an awful cold. I've been sick for days and my nose has gotten so dry, sometimes it just pours blood. My hair is matted and my voice currently sounds like an old man Shirley Temple. My fever has me constantly drenched in sweat, so overall, I'm a mess. After walking the perimeter of the graveyard and my neighborhood, I decided to walk through the graveyard and search for him in there. So I strolled in, calling, "Billy!" over and over and over again. As I got deeper into the cemetery, I came across a car. It seemed to be some old man who was dropping off flowers for someone. I just kept walking and calling out for my missing cat. As I got closer to the man, I noticed he was staring at me and backing away. I found his behavior kind of strange, but being sick, exhausted, and solely focused on finding my cat, I ignored it and just kept walking. As soon as I was past him, I heard the car door slam, and by the time I turned around to see if he was okay, he was speeding out of the cemetery. I finished my walk, went home, and fell asleep. It was only upon waking up that I realized how creepy that must have been for that old man. He was dropping off flowers in a secluded graveyard in the middle of the afternoon when some girl, drenched in sweat and with matted hair and blood dripping out of her nose, starts coming towards him, yelling, "Billy! Come on, Billy!" over and over again, with a voice so deep she sounds like a demon. So the man I creeped out in the graveyard today, let's meet sometime so I can try to explain what just happened.
This part's sad. I know you're going to be sad. Yeah.
No! Oh, that just ruined the whole movie. You should have left that out. The whole movie.
I thought about it.
Oh,
but do you want me to lie to you?
Yes.
Oh,
I would much rather live in ignorant bliss.
Noted for the future.
The cat passed away, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's so sad. Why did that woman not grab the cat when she saw him?
That's a great question.
That is, to the woman, the real villain in this story is the woman who did not grab the cat when she saw him.
It.
You knew somebody was looking for him.
Yeah.
Grab that cat. Grab that cat. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that breaks my heart. Oh, I don't know if I can recover from this one.
I don't think she can.
Please hold.
What if the old man in the graveyard's name is like William?
And he like looked, he was like, only his mom who is like
whose grave
awfully,
he's at.
Oh my god.
With
and
the flowers.
She was like awful to him too.
Yeah.
And she always got nosebleeds and she sounded kind of raspy.
Mm-hmm.
All the cigarettes.
I imagine William is very into the paranormal. He's visiting his mother's grave. He's leaving flowers. She used to call him Billy. And then all of a sudden he hears, "Billy." And then he turns and he sees a woman looking like she's possessed.
Stumbling
in a demonic voice.
Stumbling towards him.
Yep.
That would make me...
He probably went to pray, I bet.
Oh, yeah, 100% sure. And if he was wearing a diaper, which he probably...
which he was.
Which he probably was, because he's old. No, just kidding. But I would have peed, because you don't have really a big, good control over your bowels at that time. Anyway.
No, if you give me too good now, I'll pee a little bit. So I cannot imagine when I'm like 82.
You know? Yeah. Graveyards are super cool.
Graveyards are spooky.
They're spooky, but there are some really pretty ones.
There are some really beautiful ones.
There was one in this area by where I grew up, and it was like in the back of a neighborhood by a lake, and it was an old graveyard. And I mean, it was small, like 20 plots, I feel like, right behind this house in this suburban neighborhood. And we would go and hang out and use the devil's lettuce there. And we also used a Ouija board there once. And it was very jarring.
Could not catch me doing that.
I was like 16, so fuck it, we ball kind of stuff, you know? you know.
You've been there.
Yeah, it's the time. It's the coming of age or whatever they call it.
Fuck it, we ball.
I am so sorry that the cat died.
Yeah. I have a funeral for Billy.
I know. Oh.
As you were reading it, I was like, maybe I should just delete it. Story 3. My daughter was someone's let's not meet. My daughter reminded me about this today, and I thought y'all would enjoy it. When my oldest daughter was a freshman in college, she and her friends decided to get into bones. Specifically, they would pick up decaying roadkill, clean the skulls, and make art from them or sell them. Eventually, they decided to get some fresh cow skulls to clean. They went to the local slaughterhouse and bought 3 cow heads, wrapping them in plastic garbage bags and putting them in the back of the car. On the way to the cleaning site, they stopped at a home improvement store in the middle of nowhere to pick up some supplies. 2 people went inside, 2 stayed in the car. After a few minutes, my daughter said, I think the heads shifted. I'm going to go back and check on them and make sure the bags didn't come open. She got out, opened the hatchbacks, and the bags toppled out, spilling blood and decapitated cow heads onto the pavement. As she jumped back, she happened to see a lone store employee pushing the carts back to the store. As he saw the heads and the blood, he dropped the carts and power walked as fast as possible to the front of the store, just as my daughter's friends came out. We need to go, she said, and they went all with haste. This was 5 years ago. I'm sure the poor traumatized employee is hoping to never meet them again.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, even knowing what they were going to do with them, I still would have had that reaction. Be like, how dare you? How dare you spill blood all over this parking lot?
I'm going to have to clean that later.
I know, like, you know me. I'm a liker of bones. Yeah. I have quite a few bones. I can't say I would ever do this.
I know.
I think, and this might be a hot take, that's weird.
Yeah.
But you know it's wrong.
Questions. Because, like, I know a few people that are hunters, and, like, they'll do the whole thing where they leave it out so, like, the ants.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess this would be the way to do it if you're not a hunter and you want the bones. But I don't know. I'm just not a corpse person in general.
No, I'm not. That's why I can say that so easily. That's weird. Some people do like it, and I get it. That's how people do taxidermy and all that, which is fun. I love taxidermy, and I know that's where all my bones come from, is somebody went out and collected them and cleaned them. I'm just saying, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is the take. It's just a little...
Which I'm not faulting you for. Everybody's a little weird.
Yeah.
I collect them. I just wouldn't do it myself.
You're just on the other end of it. You're like, give me the bones.
Yeah, that poor employee, though. Can you imagine?
Just like fast walking back to this. Like, how fast do you feel like it's safe to walk in this scenario? You don't want to run.
Sprint. Yeah. I would sprint inside, and then I'd be locking the doors. And I know that's an overreaction because it's just cow heads. But at the same time, imagine yourself, dear listener, close your eyes. And imagine yourself, you're working at a store. You're just outside, pushing the carts around, just hanging out. Just maybe you have your AirPods in, you're listening to it. You look over. You hear a splat. You hear some heavy thuds, and you hear a girl go, "Not the heads!" You look over, and you see they're not small. Cow heads are not small.
Really big.
Big cow heads tumbling over on the pavement with blood raining down from this trunk. You're telling me you would not be freaked out, even knowing what it is? That would be it. I'd go inside. Hey, I need to clock out for the day.
I'm done today.
I need to go home.
I won't be here tomorrow.
I need to take a mental health day, week, whatever. Also, do you think the blood was like draining out of the back of the car when they drove away?
It might have been dripping out still.
Mm-hmm.
And if it got onto the bumper, imagine someone driving behind them and they're like, is that blood?
That has to be one of those like Halloween things, right?
Yeah. What time of year was it?
Drip blood out of the car. Why do you need 4 people to pick up cow?
Because they're heavy. I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know why I'm
there's
ripping
3
these people
cow
up
heads.
so much. I just think I can't imagine driving around with cow heads in the back of my car.
Yep. No.
I love this mom though. This mom is so supportive.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, my daughter likes bones.
Yeah.
What of
Hell
it?
yeah, girl. Yeah. Anyway, damn, that's wild.
Damn, that's wild. No, that's crazy.
That's so
That's crazy. I hope that store employee is okay, and I hope that they saw a therapist after this.
They probably went and got another job.
Yeah, because I mean, especially if you don't know, this person didn't even stick around to explain it.
No, they just drove off.
So that person is walking around now. This poor guy is walking around, not understanding what just happened.
Some of the comments, this first one is like, why do they act so sketchy though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You could have done this and it been less sketchy.
Yeah, they could have just like been like, hey, I just so you know, these are we're gonna wash the bones. There's not really a good way
This person comment was like, following them to explain boiling, burying, and bleaching these skulls as your little hobby was not gonna go well.
That's exactly what I'm thinking now that I say it out loud. I'm like, you can't. He's running inside, and you're like, wait. We're cleaning the bones!
I'm just gonna boil the heads!
I'm bleaching them. I'm getting them cleaned up.
As someone who collects skulls, I concur. It's a questionable hobby.
It's a cool hobby. Go off.
Yep. I like bones.
I love bones.
I just don't like all the flesh on them.
They have to come from somewhere. And those people are these people. And I will buy their bones off of them. So why am I calling it weird? You know what? This has been a whole reverse. I talked myself through this whole thing. They're not weird. You're not weird if you like cleaning bones.
Yeah, because then Addison will buy them.
I will buy them. I love taxidermy and I love bones.
I don't like taxidermy. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
You like my little duck?
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
I have a little duck on my desk at work, like a duckling, but a taxidermy duck, and he stands, and I love him. His name's Donnie, like Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Or Danny. I like fluctuate between the two a lot.
He's a D guy.
He's a D guy.
He's a duck.
For duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like this big, and he's so cute. Love him to pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do without my little duck.
Jump off the roof.
Yes.
Someone asked, did they leave the heads there to traumatize even more people? No, they took them with them. Prepared them. We'll just skip all that.
Prepared them.
It nearly got the cops called on them because a rural neighbor saw them digging a hole and attracting coyotes. Why were they digging a hole?
Why would you need to dig a hole?
Do you bury this? It's this. I just don't know enough about.
I don't know.
Bone preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah, super funny.
Story 4. I was somebody else's let's not meet. Trigger warning. Another animal dies. This was pretty horrifying when it happened for everyone involved, but enough time has gone by now that I can laugh about it. So here goes. I was in my second year of university. My flat was a near quiet road surrounded by woodland, so we'd occasionally see a roe deer and other... Roe deer?
I don't know what roe deer means.
And other wildlife roaming around. We weren't that far from the campus, but it was still pretty out of the way. One night, it must have been around 10 p.m., my housemate got home, came straight upstairs to my room, and told me that a deer had been hit by a car and killed. Aww. It was lying practically in the middle of the road. Me try not to cry. No. There weren't many streetlights, so it posed a serious risk to any drivers who might not see it in the dark. It could flip up and go through somebody's windscreen or cause them to swerve into a tree. We considered calling campus security to come and remove the deer, but we knew it would take them a while to get there. So we figured we might as well try and move it off the road and onto the pavement. I grabbed some heavy-duty plastic garbage bags, and my housemate brought a torch. Flashlight in UK.
Yeah. No, actual torch.
I know. When we got to the place where the deer was, I gingerly put my hand on her neck to check if she was definitely dead. I almost screamed when she suddenly came back to life, flailing her legs out and thrashing, making the most god-awful groaning noise. It was like a horror movie jump scare. We were both very shaken, though thankfully out of kicking range. After that last outburst, the deer unfortunately did pass away, though I think we were both secretly relieved that we didn't have to put her out of her misery ourselves. Killing a half-dead animal with a rock was not very much on my 2018 bucket list. No cars had come by yet, so between us, we were able to wrap the deer in garbage bags and lift it. Once we had it up, it seemed stupid to just dump it out there on the pavement when the woods were right next to us. We decided to carry it a bit further out and leave it in a sheltered woodland area. I know how dumb it sounds, but at the time, it seemed perfectly sensible. You can probably guess what happened next. We'd been walking for a couple of minutes. The bag was leaking blood from the deer's hind leg, and it was generally just a pretty messy business. We were talking as we went, and I said something about how I hoped she hadn't suffered too much and how we needed to find an out-of-the-way place to drop the corpse. I can't with this story. What we did not know is that not far away, just out of our line of sight, was a guy out for a late-night smoke. I smelled the weed, but had no idea anyone else was around until we were on our way out of the woods again, at which point we saw him walking ahead of us very fast, occasionally darting horrified glances over his shoulder. He was white as a sheet. As we drew nearer, he broke into an outright run, and when we finally emerged onto the street, we saw him disappear around the corner. I can only imagine how freaked out he must have been. From his perspective, he'd just seen two people wandering through the woods after dark, dragging a heavy, bloody garbage bag, and discussing the most effective way to dispose of a woman's body. We went the next few days half expecting to receive some sort of call from security accusing us of murder, but nothing ever came of it. Maybe he went back to check for the body and realized what had happened, or he was too traumatized to report it. Either way, I'm pretty sure we gave that man the shock of his life. To the innocent weed-smoking guy in the woods, I am so sorry. I promise I'm not a murderer. That is so funny. That is so funny. I mean, it's really sad that the deer died, but casually walking through the woods and not saying deer and just saying, I hope she didn't suffer too much. Yeah. Where should we put her? Oh, I think somewhere over there, somewhere secluded. We don't want anyone to find her.
And then there's just some guy, like, standing in the woods, like,
could you imagine smoking in the woods at night?
I would be horrified. Well, because we did a whole episode on people going camping and creepy things happening in the woods. Other people coming up and being like, ooh, let's kill you. So I can only imagine this guy's like, it's happening.
Today's my day.
Today's my day. I mean, just have him, like, running back to his car, like, looking over his shoulder, and you're, like, walking out with your friends. You had one of the worst nights of your life, and you're like,
covered in blood, too.
Yeah. Do you think he's running because of us? Yes.
You like look down at your shoes and your hands and you're like, God damn it.
Wait, hold on, come back.
We're not gonna kill you. Like,
We're not murderers.
All he hears is, we're murderers. We are gonna kill you. Because he keeps like turning his head so his ears only pick up part of it. So every time he turns,
are murderers.
Ew, I would be the same way. I would be like
horrified.
Yeah, because you have no idea. And deers are relatively people size, so I couldn't see unless you saw the actual. I want to know if it was like a black garbage bag or if it was like a clear or white one.
A white one, you can see the blood everywhere.
You can see clearly that
That's
there's. Well, it's at night, right? Is it at night? Yeah, late night smoke. So he just saw dark liquid in a bag while these people are getting.
I hope she didn't suffer too much. Which is what you would say in that scenario.
I would be, since he's out there smoking, my first thing would be like, is this real? Am I real? Is this really happening?
I'm hallucinating.
And then run like a woman kicks in. I mean, this was a guy, but you know.
Run like a woman.
For me, I would be sprinting it back. I do wonder if he went back to go check on the body, though.
I feel like I don't know if I would have. Because there's this whole thing about how, like, murderers will revisit murder sites. Yeah. And then if that's, like, their, like, burial ground, they could be back there burying something. Yeah. I would have just told the police, hey.
Yeah. I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have, like, called the police and been like, hey, there's these guys were just bringing this lady out into the woods. Mm-hmm. They just kind of strolled past me.
Yeah, seems dead.
They said, I hope she doesn't suffer, and said they should hide her somewhere secluded. Yeah. Seclusive. Yeah. Another thing, I'd poop.
I would poop everywhere. It would have been a big ol', or probably just like one poop.
That guy probably went to therapy too.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. I don't think he ever smoked again.
No, probably not. He thought he was going to die. He thought that was his last night on Earth. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him. I would have felt the same way.
Imagine your first smoke by yourself and this shit happens.
I remember the first time, sorry, Mom, that I partook in the lettuce, and I did it out of a Sprite bottle and a lug nut.
She's an engineer.
I didn't have anything else. And there was this like park, like this like playground that was in my neighborhood, and then there was like the woods behind it. Yeah. So we would go into the woods, and that's where I smoked for the first time. We were sitting on this big concrete barrel thing, and I thought I was hallucinating everything.
Oh my God.
And we walked back to the park, and I laid on the ground and looked up at the sky, and it was daytime. And I could hear, like, kids playing. And I was like, whoa, the clouds are talking to me. Hey, yikes.
That's so funny.
So imagine being this guy.
Yeah.
In the woods. And he's like...
He was probably having such a nice time before that.
I know.
Sitting, listening to, like, the crickets chirp and the rustle of the leaves.
Just late night smoking.
And then a little
Where should we bury the body?
Crunching.
Oh my God, she's dripping blood everywhere. This is so unfortunate. I'm really glad we didn't have to just put her out of her misery, though.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I really didn't want to hit her over the head with a rock.
Yeah, that would have been the worst. I hate having to do that.
Oh, I've never done that. You've done it before? Yeah, I've done it quite a few times, actually.
Mm-hmm. More than you would want to.
And I always put them somewhere secluded in the woods.
Just a nice little spot for their burial, you know?
Yeah, just give them a little nice...
They had such a hard time going out. I want to make sure the afterlife is nice, you know?
Laying down on this crunchy, nice, soft dirt and leaves.
Someone says should have eaten that deer.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, someone else in the comment was like asking if the other perspective was ever posted. It's somewhere out there, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I'll work to find them, and then that'll be a whole
I
episode.
hope this brings us around.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to admit, the different perspectives were pretty funny.
Right? Like, becoming a Let's Not Meet could really happen to anyone. That being said,
we're still going to judge actual creeps.
1000% stop being weird.
Just stop it.
You know what you should keep doing, though?
Keep liking, share with your friends, comment, subscribe, ring that bell.
Ring that bell. Ding, ding.
The more you interact with our content, the better the algorithm will pick us up so we can get more followers, Mm-hmm. So be sure to follow us on everything is what was that _the pod. We have Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of that fun stuff. We're all over the place. We're really trying. We're branching out.
We're putting ourselves out there.
Yeah. But if you have any stories that you would like to share with us to read on our show, please email us. Please email them to us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for listening. Okay, so these stories kind of remind me of this kid that I knew in high school. He was literally such a freaking...
Wait, what was that?